Coming up, I build a fully automatic Nether Star farm, which means terraforming the Nether in order to build a fortress farm for wither skeleton skulls, and I even build what's probably the best create-powered tree farm you've ever seen. Let's create wooden beacons. And I don't mean beacons made out of wood. I mean beacons and wood. That's the plan today, and in the last video I made this piglin bartering system as well as this entire piglin village, and it's all been working rather well. Although apparently I've forgotten to tidy this little bit up, so let's just do that very quickly. There we go, no one would ever know. And if we go in here, we can see in this storage system we've got a whole bunch of stuff now. We're getting plenty of drops from these piglins, and well, I don't really need any of them, but they're nice to have and they'll come in handy at some point, I'm sure. But that's not what today is about. Today I want to build a new kind of tree farm. And you might be thinking, you've already got a tree farm. And you're right, not too far away from over there. If we go over this mountain range here, you can see the monorail coming down to my other tree farm. And this tree farm, when it's working, works very well, but there's a little bit of a problem with this tree farm, and that is that you need to be here for the trees to grow. Trees won't grow even in force loaded chunks unless there's a player around to actually grow them. And whilst I did used to force load this area regularly, I don't anymore because I've got lots of wood. So why do you need a wood farm? Well, I've got loads of dark oak. I've got loads of woods that I don't really use. I've even got plenty of cherry. I don't have a great deal of mangrove. I've got hardly any spruce, and I've got hardly any oak. And while I could add those to this, force chunk loaded again, bring my AFK account back over here and get this up and running, the problem is that all of the items from here come through this processing plant. They go onto this train, that all needs chunk loading. They go onto this monorail, that all needs chunk loading, or at least the stations do. It goes all the way over this mountain, all the way down to the other side, and over to the snowy area, which then needs chunk loading in order to get the drops off. And the items get dropped off by these, they come downstairs, then they end up in our little storage system underneath here, and then a train comes and picks them up. And apparently my wood train hasn't actually been doing a very good job of actually collecting these things, it would seem, because I thought I was pretty much completely out of leaves. So perhaps I don't need a wood farm, but I've had some ideas on how I can make a good one, and one that'll be suitable not just for overworld trees, but for nether trees as well, I think, maybe, possibly. So hopping back over to the area we're currently working in, I think the ideal place for that would be here, and it's going to be built in the form of a tower. And we're going to be using bone meal, so we're going to need bone meal over here as well, and a whole bunch of other things as well, so it's going to be quite a big build. So why am I doing withers as well? Well, you see, I want beacons, and I want a wither skull factory, and that all sounds right good fun to me, and while I've been in the nether already, I might as well continue to be in the nether. Speaking of bone meal though, this place here, our biodiesel factory, completely surplus to requirements now that we've got an infinite source of it, still has 109,000 bone meal, so I think we could repurpose this for our tree farm. But we'll get to that later. Right now I need to go back to the nether, and I need a couple of ender pearls so that I can build a new waystone, so that when we get over to the nether fortress I can actually put one of these down and get back nice and easily. And getting over to the nether fortress might be a little bit tricky, but I'm sure we'll manage. Ah yes, here we are at the lava level. How convenient. I just love traveling through the nether, it's the best. Why don't you use the nether roof? That's a good idea. So here we are arriving somewhere near our first fortress. All we got to do is get down below the bedrock and actually get into this thing. So let's hope the bedrock at this point isn't too deep and we can get through nice and easily. And I'm going to build exactly the same system we had before. Flip myself under there, grab my pistons, flick that lever. Ah, I've popped out again. No. Oh, jeez. Flip lever. Go over here, click there. And hopefully, fingers crossed, it didn't work. Flick the lever, come under here, point at the edge of that block there without popping up, and... oh, it's looking promising. Yay, we got down below the bedrock. Hurrah! Oh, and we can get straight... that was convenient. Wow, I did a really good job there. Oh, geez, and here we go. Here is the nether fortress. I've found it, guys. But is this nether fortress particularly good for wither skeletons? Potentially over at this part, at least. Ah, we've got one over there. Yeah, we've got a couple of crossroads here, so we might be able to just make this work. So for now, let's create ourselves a little base. Put down a waystone. Throw a few of these around. And then remember that blazes exist. This could be tricky. Perhaps we'll come back here later, because I want to get started with this wood farm. So hopping over to my creative test world, this is the base of our tree farm that we're going to be creating today, and yes, it's just going to do single trees. I did make one over here that works on double-sized trees, but there's a few issues with different types of trees and how they grow, and it just wasn't really all that good. Whereas this one is going to be amazing because you can select which type of tree you want to grow. So if I want to do spruce, I press that button and the whole thing moves across one. If I press it again, you can see the entire thing moves across and I can select any type of sapling. I've also added fungus on here, although I need Nylium to grow that and not podzol, so I need to figure out how I'm going to do a swap with that. And I've also got mushrooms, so let me just move this down all the way to the end. And now that brown mushrooms are selected, if I flick that lever and turn this thing on, it's going to grow the last tree that was on there, and the next one will be a mushroom. And as you can see, the little saw on there has absolutely no problems dealing with mushrooms, breaking that down, and it's not actually giving me any mushroom blocks, it's just giving me mushrooms which are being fed back into the system through this little system here. But it's all working rather nicely. What this system isn't doing for me yet is getting me any leaves, and that's one of the main reasons I want this system. And you might be thinking, well, if you've got a leaf smasher like this one has on here, then you're just not going to get any samplings and the system's going to stop. But no, they have a clever system in place for this, although I've disconnected it all, but it's able to detect how many saplings are in the system, and if we've got plenty, then it activates this so that we just get leaves until the saplings start running out again, and then it turns that off again. So I just need one of those over here, and I need a way of turning this podzol into Nylium when we're running off fungus. How hard could that be? Before I do that though, I haven't actually tested if mushrooms will work, so let's just slide this along over to the fungus, turn the machine back on again, and oh, it does! It chops it down rather nicely. Wow, we get everything. That's pretty good. So now all of those are going into the system as well. So this is how we're going to switch the Nylium to the podzol. We've got a couple of blocks here glued together in front of a mechanical piston, and top of that there's a gear shift with a redstone link. Here we've got a couple of observers above the fungus lamps, so that when this redstone lamp powers one of those lamps, it's going to hit this toggle switch, which is going to send a signal through this to that, and then that's going to replace it. So if I go back to the mushroom, that's going to push out. Now we've got podzol, which is backwards, but that's fine. If I push it again, it's going to do the same thing, but if I go onto something that's not a fungus, it's going to switch to Nylium, and that just means all I need to do is just put those the other way round, and now we should be fungusable. So if let's bring it back to a fungus, which is the warped one, and let's see if that's going to work for us. And it grew it, but it's not bone mealing it. Yeah, the crimson one works on the crimson Nylium, so I guess for the warped Nylium, I actually need a warp block, because that's not bone mealing at all. So there's another layer of complexity that I need to deal with. And just to double check things, if I switch that onto warp Nylium and put some warp Nylium in place of the red Nylium and turn the machine on would be useful, you can see that those will grow on the correct type of Nylium. So I guess I've got a bit of work to do for that. It's time to build our wither skeleton farm, and that means doing a whole lot of destroying, doing a whole lot of placing, and then thinking about how I'm going to do a whole lot of spawn proofing. Yeah, that's going to be a tricky one. So I guess I'm going to start by making a big old platform. And I've got an absolute ton of nether bricks, so we could use that, but the nether's dark enough. And I just happen to have an absolute ton of polished smooth stone there, which is really bright. So I think I'm going to use that. There we go. Mini. Now that that's done, the next thing to do is put down a mega torch to stop things from spawning around here. And now if I go away, let's go, I guess, to the nether roof. And then go back again. Hopefully anything that was spawned is now despawned, and I should be pretty safe to get on with this building process. Apparently the mega torch isn't too useful with ghasts. Stop it. Will you just... Oh, there we go. Let's got rid of that. Oh, geez, look at the platform. What a mess. If you're enjoying this video, then consider hitting that subscribe button. It only takes a second, and it really helps me out. Well, I've made a mess. I've made a big mess of the Nether for absolutely no reason at all. I didn't need to dig any of this out because, of course, I'm using mega torches to stop spawning. So why did I spend a whole day doing it? Well, I started and then I realized that I didn't need to do it and I thought, well, I'll just carry on because why not? So now we've got this huge messy area of the Nether with this farm in the middle that I don't even know if it's going to work. And another thing I made a mess with is all of these lines. If we look at our map, I made a chunk grid to work out where I need my mega torches on the assumption that mega torches have a radius of 32 blocks. That's what the wiki says, that's what everyone on the internet says, but they don't. The default megatorch radius is 64, and while you can change that, I think 64 is fine, but that means instead of needing like 20 megatorches, I only actually need 4. Because a megatorch will do a 64 block radius in a square above, below, and to the side each way. So this megatorch here will actually go all the way pretty much up to the end of that green line there, and all the way up to that yellow line there, all the way up to the nether roof, and all the way down to the bedrock at the bottom of the world. So yeah, I only actually need one there, and there, and as you can see, each one of those has got a little box on top, and these boxes are called dread lamps, and they just stop passive mob spawning like striders to keep the mob cap free. But aside from making a huge mess and wasting an entire day, have I made a good farm? I don't know. I know things will spawn in it, but I don't know if my little system will work, because what I've decided to use is these nozzles. Nozzles go on encased fans, and they will either push or pull items and entities depending on the direction of the fan. The idea here is when it's turned on, it will push any entities away from this corner towards the middle. And if we look down there where there are 4 deployers with diamond swords, there's another one that's actually pulling. Now there are some dead spots in here because they don't quite reach all of the way, but I'm hoping it'll work enough with the mob's pathfinding a little bit to work. And then underneath this entire thing, we've got our power plant. I was going to use steam engines, but then I realized you can't have water in the Nether, and whilst I could ship it through on a train, you need a lot of water for steam engines, so I've opted to go with water wheels. And basically what this one does is it's just got those 4 deployers all going absolutely crazy. They're going to drop their items into these storage drawers, and hopefully all of the items are going to come down here. Wow, it's working. And as you can see, things are getting blown to the middle. And as you can also see, a lot of things in there aren't wither skeletons. We're getting magma cubes, we're getting zombie pigmen, we're getting blazes. So it's not a particularly efficient wither skeleton farm. Although it will be, because all I need to do is just gather a whole bunch of wither roses. So I think I need to improve my nozzle system a little bit in order to make sure everything actually does end up down that hole and not stuck at the edges like this enderman. Oh, and none of this is spawnable. Oh geez. Okay, in that case, let's just throw that mega torch on there and then run away, and then hopefully everything will despawn. Oh, as if I've got to spawn proof all of that. Have we got any wither skeleton skulls? 1. Oh good, it's a roaring success. So I've still got a whole bunch of work ahead of me at this farm, but it's not time to work on this farm. It's time to work on our wood farm. And a little while later, I've now got the tree farm in place. It's a little bit more optimized than the one we saw on my test world. I put some glass over these funnels to stop other items accidentally going in the chutes and clogging up these deployers, and it all should work, although we've got no power to it yet, so I can't really tell. There's a couple of things to point out though, and that is with the mushrooms, if we grow a big mushroom and then use a mechanical saw to chop that down, we only actually get mushrooms back. And the same thing happens with a red mushroom. So that's basically just a mushroom farm rather than a mushroom stem farm. But I've already got a mushroom farm, so I've already got plenty of mushrooms. And that is in my snowy area just up these ladders in here. So I really don't need a new system for mushrooms. The other minor problem with this farm is going to be these funguses. Of course, we needed a block swapper to make those work, but if we actually grow the mushrooms and then harvest them, as much as that works, we don't actually get any fungus back. So in order to run those, we'd need a separate fungus farm to feed those into here, which isn't necessarily a problem, and I will run this, but instead of using a block swapper, I'm just going to come out here manually, change that over to the right crimson or warp block, and that just saves a whole bunch of complications. And the other reason... Network not powered. Network not powered. It is? No water again. And one of the reasons I don't want to use a block swapper is because if you grow a tree on here, often that nylium can just end up turning into netherrack, and then you need to bone the netherrack that's next to the nylium in order to turn it back into nylium again. So the whole thing would be just a massive issue. So we're just not going to worry about it. Now I still need to add the leaf smashing system into this, which I will do soon, but before I do that, I'm going to need power. And that's going to be nice and easy because our liquid storage is just there. And if we hop down underneath this platform, you can see we've already got pipe pipes full of nothing. Well, that should be full of lava, that. I've got a lot of pipes full of nothing. Well, I found the reason we've got no power, and that is, for some reason, this keeps happening to me. I don't know why, but in the latest version of Create, occasionally when I come back to this area, I have to replace my water pipes in order to refill my boilers. This one completely ran out of water, so that one stopped. So did this one at my storage system, which I turned back on a minute ago by replacing these pipes. And I guess any other power stations I've got over here have probably broken as well. Yep, the one in the library's completely stopped for no reason at all. I don't understand why. There we go, flip that round, and now that's going to kick back in. If anyone knows why my pipes and pumps just stop working for no reason, considering all of these areas are chunk loaded, they really shouldn't, then please do let me know in the comments. Anyway, that should mean we've now got lava flowing through these pipes that already go underneath the platform, so we can just hook into those and create a little power station. And there we go, a nice compact little level 4 boiler to provide us plenty of power. And we want that power first of all running over to this bit here. And we'll start with the chain drive there. We'll run a bunch of shaft along here like this. And there we go. Now we've got a nice system with a speed controller. We can stick that on as fast as we want. Next, we need to do a little bit of logic to get this piston to extend and retract when we press the buttons over there. The buttons have redstone links on the back that have either a button and a sapling or a sapling and a button. And basically how this works is if we've got the one that's got a sapling on a button on it, we probably need that to activate not just this sequence gear shift, but also this gearbox as well to reverse the direction. I'm not sure which one needs which yet, but we'll figure that out. So one of these is going to need 2, one of these is going to need 1. Let's make that one that one. All of these are going to have saplings on. Both of these are going to have sequence gear shift, and one of these is just going to have the gear shift. And then we just need to connect these with a little bit of redstone. And now I could tidy that up and put it out of the way, but we'll just test that for now. It should work, hopefully. And of course, I need to add these filters onto here as well. So both with the sapling, this one with the gear shift, and that one with the sequence gear shift. And now hopefully it will work. We need the system to move this way because it's at the furthest end it can go that way. So if I press this button, what's going to happen? Oh, it moved across. There we go. And if I press that one, there we go, it moves back. Can't see it. I know it's very difficult to see. I'll pop a button on here for you and then you should hopefully be able to see it. There we go, come across just like that. Lovely. So with a little bit of jiggery pokery later, we've now got the oak saplings going up, and that is working a treat. The saw comes across, it offloads everything it's got into that there, and then it grows again and then cuts it down again. Let's move that onto spruce and see how we get on with spruce. Of course, it's going to do the last one that was in the system first, which is oak, but now it should grow a spruce tree, and that should hopefully grow. There it goes. And now there's a birch tree, an acacia tree. And yes, we can even grow single dark oak trees on this mod pack, so I don't have to worry about the dark oak causing a problem. Next, we've got cherry trees, which work absolutely fine. And then, of course, we've got the mushrooms, which are no longer going to plant because the podzols disappeared and turned into dirt. But we're not going to use those anyway. Good. Right, all of my tree types are working. Let's turn it off and build ourselves a leaf smasher. And there we go, we've got a leaf smasher now. I don't think this is going to get all of the leaves, but it should get us plenty. So if I make that a contraption, get rid of that torch, and just give it a shufty over here, that should only actually activate if we've got enough saplings in the system, which is controlled by this. And that is then controlled by this threshold switch here, which is looking at the saplings boxes. So now that we've got enough saplings, that thing's going to activate, although it really should only activate once the tree's actually grown. So I need to do a little bit more logic. We know a tree has grown when we've got a signal coming out from this, and we need to link that together with the output from our threshold switch, which means we need an AND gate. If both of these are active, then activate the leaf smasher. And AND gates are pretty simple. I've put both of these on the back of these blocks here. If I put some redstone across there, that's going to be lit if either one of those is on. So that's an OR gate. To turn it into an AND gate, we have a redstone torch there and a redstone torch there, and now that redstone's only going to go off if both of those are lit. So if we put a redstone torch on there, now whenever both of those are lit, we should get that redstone torch lit. And that means we can send a signal to our leaf smasher, and we just got to update that on there. And now that should only actually go if a tree has grown and we've got enough saplings. And there we go. The other thing we need to do is link up the bone meal to our bone meal processing factory. But for now, all I'm going to do is steal that bone meal, bring it in here, pop it down for a second, steal that bone meal, pop that down for a second, put that one in its place over there, and then we'll take this one to the tree farm. And I think it might take us a while to go through 110,000 bone meal. 109? It's close enough, I'm rounding up, jeez. But eventually I will link this up to there because it's only across the road. It shouldn't be too difficult at all. But I've got other things to do today, like naming these piglins. I've had a lot of comments for piglin names and strider names from the last episode, so I think it's time we came over here and gave them a whole bunch of names. And I was very impressed to see such a diverse range of names in the comments for all of these piglins, because I called them all Jeff. So the first name is from Throwlash, who wanted to call their piglin Jeff. The next piglin is for Taylor Bertie, who also wanted to call their piglin Jeff. Thirdly, we got a piglin for Break Sheathan, who wanted to call their piglin Jeff. And these two were from Robert Fisher and the tall curly one, who both came up with the name Jeff. Max B wanted to call their piglin Jeff, whereas Robert Fisher wanted to call their piglin Jeff. The tall curly one wanted to call their piglin Jeff, and Johnny Kiffin wanted to call their piglin Jeff. Adina Sign wanted to call their piglin Jeff, and Ducko Godtaguno, or whatever the name is, wanted to call their piglin Jeff. Interestingly enough, Lyra wanted to call her piglin Jeff, and Gian DiMaggio wanted to call her piglin Jeff 2 Electric Boogaloo. And that's it, we're out of names for Jeff. However, I did get a couple of names for the Striders too, and apparently you guys don't like these Striders shivering. Got a few comments asking me to put lava in here, but I don't want to burn their hay bale. Anyway, Tree Sam wanted to call one of the Striders Jeff, and somebody called Jeff Smith wanted to call the other Strider Jeff. So there we go. Everything's now named, all with completely unique and very interesting names that will be easy to pick out in a crowd, and you'll know exactly which one your piglin is because it's the name you chose. You're welcome. So back at the Wither Skeleton farm, I've been busy adding in a whole bunch more fans to try and get everything to blow to the middle, and now it does. It all blows very much to the middle, but then it kind of gets stuck because there's so much, and I think that's this one on top sucking everything in. So I'm going to just disconnect that for a second. Hopefully everything will end up down that hole. Although it looks like my deployers aren't deploying, which probably means my storage system is absolutely full of junk. It is. So we need to do some filtering, otherwise we're not going to kill anything. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to show you earlier, when I was doing all of that digging in the nether, clearing out all of this is what I got. So we got over 1 million netherrack, we got a whole bunch of nether fortress, we got a whole bunch of scoria and scorchia, and a few warp woods as well as loads of quartz, gravel, glowstone, magma blocks, a little bit of ancient debris, and even some blackstone, soul sand, and soul soil. But I don't need those here, though. I just wanted to show you. So in order to filter out these items, we're going to utilize the lava, which means I need a filter with all of these things in it, as well as a smart chute. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here, put the smart chute there, put a filter in there, and then put the draw controller slave on top and see what disappears. Oh, and there we go. All the things we don't want have disappeared. And a few minutes later, things have changed again. We've now got a hole in the floor with deployers facing upwards, and we've got another nozzle there sucking things down. Hopefully now the fans will be able to blow far enough across here to get them into there, and anything that spawns in there will just get sucked directly into that. At least that's my plan. Let's break the torch and find out if it's actually going to work this time. Please, we've got a magma cube in there that's dying, some pigmen in there that are dying, and now we've got more stuff. Oh yes. Oh, this is working quite nicely. Now obviously I've made the floor of the bottom area out of dirt so that when we got wither roses we'll be able to put those down there, and the reason we want wither roses on the floor is that means that only wither skeletons will be able to spawn. Well, this is all just incredibly satisfying. What an amazing farm. I can't wait until it's just withers. So now the Wither Skull farm is a roaring success. It's time to focus on this wood farm and get the building built up. So cue that music. Let's do a montage. Another one? Maybe. A bit. is. I don't think it looks too bad considering it's just a big tower with a tree farm inside. It's got a little area outside with some logs, a couple of lean-tos and some containers at the front. I decided on this build not to go for another tarmac courtyard. It does need linking to the road system so we can fetch our items and put them in the storage system, but otherwise I think it's come out okay. It's got a glass roof so we can grow plenty of trees during the day, and I've tried to vary up the walls a little bit to just make it all look a little bit different so it's not all just the same big old building. And inside is a bit of a mess. We've got some catwalk above here, we've got our control system, and this leads through into the little granite building, which is just the room for the piston extension arm to come back into, so not really a lot going on in here. Back out into the entrance room and going through into the main area, we are welcomed with just a big old mess of catwalks and stairs, and well, I haven't really done a great deal in here either, but it doesn't really need much to be fair. We've got our tree growing system which is working rather nicely, and if we go up to the top floor we've got a little bit of a viewing platform so we can come up here and see what's going on, and we can even go out this side door over here onto this catwalk and walk around the side of the building for no particular reason. So overall I'm really happy with it. I think it's come out great, but as usual there's a problem, and the problem is jungle trees. You see, jungle trees for some reason in this mod pack are a bit broken. They should grow and give you jungle saplings and jungle leaves, but they don't in this mod pack. Let's just switch it over to jungle quickly, and you'll see as the jungle tree grows, it actually grows with azalea leaves instead of jungle leaves, which means we're getting azalea saplings and azalea leaves, which is nice because I like azalea leaves, but unfortunately that means we're not getting any jungle saplings at all in order to regrow this thing, which is a little bit of a problem. And as you can see, yeah, we're getting the azalea and the azalea leaves, but no jungle leaves and no jungle saplings. But other than that, it's a roaring success. And speaking of successes, my AFK account has been AFK all this time at the fortress farm, and I'm hoping that that's been running all this time. I've no idea if it has. So let's head over there and see if we've got 259 wither skulls. And it sounds very much like things are still dying, potentially. Or not. We've just got a whole bunch of magma cubes stuck in there. Have we got too much junk in here again? Oh, oh dear. Yeah, I forgot about backpacks. That's a nice one. I haven't had a nether traveler's backpack or a magma cube traveler's backpack. I shall add all of these to my collection. And I think instead of using our dump fill to decide what we're actually going to get rid of, it would probably be easier just to decide the things that we're actually going to keep. Put the drill controller slave back on, so that should kick in and start working again now. It is doing. Excellent. In which case, we need to make this a whole bunch better. That means going to the end. I haven't been to the end yet in this Let's Play. We're nearly 50 episodes in, and I haven't even been to an end portal and unlocked one. And looking at my map, it's just over there. Although I'm pretty sure there must be a closer one. Blaze powder, eyes of ender, and let's throw one and see which way it goes. It's going that way. So I'm going to do a little bit of flying, go and find myself an end portal and, well, I suppose take out the dragon. Now it's going this. Oh, right. Okay. So it's, I guess, pretty much directly below us down here. Hello, big cave. Wow, this is a big cave. A really big cave. Oh, goody. I love underwater caves. Oh, but an underwater end portal is just what I was looking for. And I'm going to be smart and I'm going to mark my way through all of the doorways I've been through with this red wall. Oh, I found a library. I'll take that smithing template then. This is another library. Oh, a chest. Oh, diamonds. A creeper. Here it is. I found the end portal, peeps. Let's throw a bunch of these in. Let's get this open. And I suppose I should make myself a new waystone. Break the spawner. I'm not going to break it, but what I am going to do is I'm going to move it. Just take this spawner. Hey. Will you give up? And I'm just going to stop it. Going to take it away. Right, I need one more waystone. With my protection 5 on everything I've got, as well as all of my other stuff, I think I'm good to go. Although I should have probably got sharpness on my sword rather than smite, but that's fine. Let's do this. Here goes nothing. We'll go into the end. Just get up here and pop my waystone down. The end. Good. Now I can get in and out nice and easily from wherever I am. Will you stop? Look, you're not even doing any damage to me. Clear off. Thank you very much for your pearls. And there we go. We got a dragon egg. Lovely. Do the old stick a torch down on the floor underneath it trick to break it into an item. End is done. That's good. I might as well go through here and get some credits. Skip. I want to skip. Thank you. I want them back here. But that's fine because now I can just hop straight back to the end. Lovely. Right, what's this stuff? Ooze. Does it hurt? No, but it's kind of squishy, and it gives me Ender Stride. What's Ender Stride? Whoa, that wasn't... Yeah, it makes you just randomly teleport, apparently. That's not ideal. Cosmic Cod? I want one. I got one. And what's this flower? It's a glow seed. I need it. Will you clear off? So why have we come to the end? What do we need the end for? Well, if we're going to cheese... Really? If we're going to be cheesing withers, then we can use the end portal trick, which means doing a little bit of digging to get down below it, and saying hello to this lovely area of bedrock that we can use to make wither fights nice and easy. So I guess let's pop the waystone down here for now. Head over to the fortress farm, find ourselves many wither skulls. And I believe, although I may get this wrong and have to actually fight the wither properly, that if I do this and then just throw down some soul sand like this and then throw some wither skeletons on it, it should hopefully get stuck in the bedrock. And then it should just suffocate to death. I guess, no, helping it was a bad idea. Now it's loose. Stop it. Hey, you're not doing any damage to me, mate. And one wither down. So if I hadn't have hit him, that should have worked out okay. But I'm wondering, this is going to take me ages just to do this manually. Would it be possible to use deployers or some create mechanisms to just build the withers here for me, let them die, and have a hopper system to actually collect the... Oh, the Enderman hit him. Look what you've done, Enderman. This is going to hurt you a lot more than it hurts me. You didn't listen, did you? You just didn't listen. Right, let's try again. Third time lucky. This time not being interfered with by Enderman, hopefully. And as I was saying, I'm hoping that maybe we could use deployers or something to actually just place the withers for us and have an actually automated farm. Well, he's nearly dead. He's just about there. Any second now he should go pop. And there we go. A nice little nether star just for me. Thank you, mate. So, will these deployers be destroyed by the wither when he explodes on, well, his spawning thing? His spawning thing? Well, you know what I mean. When he spawns in, he goes explode a bit, don't he? No, they didn't break. So we could just make a completely automatic wither building system here. Ooh, this sounds exciting. Let's do this. So this is what I'm thinking. We've got a bunch of deployers all around here with smart chutes on. We do our usual storage drawer trick to get the items into those, and then we just got a couple of storage drawers at the front here, which will put soul sand in one of them and the wither skulls in the other. So all of the deployers have now got soul sand except that one at the front, and that's because that one needs to get it from below, because otherwise it's going to get in the way of the wither. And I don't want to power any of this yet until I actually find out if it works, because I'm pretty sure half of this is going to get blown up, and I'm pretty sure that deployer at the front's going to get blown up. But I guess there's only one way to find out, so let's throw down some soul sand. Let's put another wither together and see what happens this time. It spawned in the correct place, so that's good. But when it explodes, what's going to get demolished? Ooh, nothing. Well, in that case, I better wire it up. And with a water wheel, a bit of shaft, and a whole bunch of chain drive, I believe everything is now wired together. The only thing I don't have is a collection system, which means I'm not going to get the Nether Stars if the wither dies. So I'm going to need some sort of hopper minecart system underneath this, or a backpack. We'll steal one of Mr. Beardstone's ideas. We'll worry about that in a minute, though. What I want to do is flick this lever and watch very slowly as this starts to build something. This one hasn't got any wither skulls, so that's not going to work. And I guess we probably need a delay on there because that's just plonked the wither skull straight on the floor. That one didn't even go. Okay. Yes, that one needs a shaft. That would explain things. And we only want this to actually go once and then wait for a long time. I think I've got this set up. So I've moved the water wheels around a little bit to give us a little bit more power because everything was going a little bit slowly. And I've separated the power so that the soul sand deployers are on one power line and the wither skull deployers are on another one. And both of those are controlled by clutches, and the entire system's controlled by a clutch as well. I've added in a backpack with a magnet upgrade, and that means that if a nether star falls down, it's going to pick that up, and we get an output from that. And that's what's going to kickstart the system. Whenever we get a new nether star, it's basically going to place another one. So that's where this comes in. This gives an output, this picks it up. This is a pulse repeater. It waits 3 seconds and then holds on the signal to place the wither skulls for about 2 seconds to allow the the deployers to actually place. But before that happens, we're going to have the soul sand being placed, and again, that's going to hold on for 2 seconds to allow that to be placed. So I think that needs to be in inverted mode to keep them locked until it actually starts. If I turn those off and turn the power on, nothing should happen at all. What I am going to do though is just get rid of some of that soul sand, so that's out of the way. Now this deployer hasn't got a wither skull because I don't want to wither just yet. We're just testing. So now if I grab one of these nether stars and chuck that down somewhere, we should see another wither soul sand being built, and then the skulls should come out afterwards. I missed it. I couldn't see, but they are on there. We've got 2 of them on there, so that worked. All right, let me just do that again so you can actually see it. So a wither dies, the nether star goes down, the backpack picks it up, it builds the soul sand, and then after a couple of seconds the heads come out and they get built as well. It works. Great. Okay, right, in that case then, all I need to do is give this deployer some wither skulls back, fire the system again, and hopefully this time when it builds a wither, it's not all going to get blown up. There we go. A wither has been spawned. Oh, it has dropped another wither skull, which isn't ideal. They're probably going to get blown up. They didn't. Oh, okay. And that just means that this extender here is on for a little bit too long. So let's just put that on 1 second instead of 2, and hopefully that'll work better. Well, this wither's just about dead. It's time to find out if we're going to get another one as soon as he dies. Here we go. Drop the nether star and... skulls. There we go. Another wither. That's amazing. Oh, I'm so impressed with myself. What an amazing little system. And now we've got a fully automatic nether star farm. Oh, this is unbelievable. For now, though, I'm going to turn this system off. Wait for this wither to die because I'm a little bit worried if I unload him, he's going to be free in the end. And then I'm going to go back and check on our wither skull situation. Wow. We seem to have a lot of wither skulls. 1,145? That's ridiculous. So what about everything else then? A reasonable amount of gold, a good amount of bones, rotten flesh, coal, loads of experience, even more experience. I'm collecting it like crazy. Gold nuggets, blaze rods, loads of those. Oh, even more oh, geez. I think the experience may have overflowed. So there's a little bit of tweaking to do here. But I think I've got more wither skulls than I'm probably ever going to need. So that begs the question then, do I really need to add a load of wither roses to this to make it a wither skull only farm when we're getting all of these other very useful things, like magma cream? Before I think about that, what I now need to do is head back to our tree farm and see how that's been getting on. It should have been chunk loaded for a couple of days. I've no idea if that means it's going to have carried on running. Let's find out. Oh, geez. Yep, this is, oh, dear, this is overflowed as well. We got a lot of leaves and a lot of blocks, and now no saplings because I guess it couldn't pick any more up because the system's complete. Oh, geez. I need upgrades. I seriously need upgrades for these storage drawers. And as usual, I've got almost no diamonds and I've got no emeralds. And it's the emerald storage upgrades which are the best. And so far throughout this Let's Play, I've been getting all of my emeralds from these guys, but I'm getting so sick and tired of dealing with these guys to get a handful of emeralds. We really need an emerald system. But before I get an emerald system, let's just throw all of those wither skulls in there. As you can see, I've AFK'd here a little bit and got us a whole 21 nether stars, but that's not wither roses. So I guess I need to fix this farm up between episodes and have a serious think about how we're going to get our hands on a whole bunch of emeralds.